Hello, it's us again. Rock Kaput is back, and we're presenting another episode of Random Songs, this time from the 70s. And Oliver and me, we both prepared five songs. It could be anything. It can be a song nobody knows. It can be a well-known song. It can be a hit. It doesn't matter. We just want to surprise you with this kind of show. Okay, shall I start this time?
Yeah, go on for
Okay,
sure.
I go on. Okay, I go more or less chronologically. I'll start with 1970, and I have indeed three songs from 1970. So which one do I pick? I think I start with this one. I have I decided to go for a little bit bigger songs this time. Not as unknown as in our 60s episode. This time I'm going for a song from this kind of band. I mean, if you say 70s, you can also say Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. This is maybe their most famous album. It's a live album, a double LP. I think most of you might be familiar with it. And I've picked their maybe most ferocious song. It's Ohio. Great harmonies, yeah, and it's about the Kent State shooting in 1970. Great lyric. The song is written by Neil Young and sung by all four of them on this one, with great soloing by Neil and I think also Stephen. And yeah, four students were shot during a Vietnam War protest in Ohio. And yeah, I think at the time it was quite brave of Neil Young to name Nixon in the song. I mean, today everybody is naming Donald Trump in many, many songs. But back then it was really something, yeah, it was really a very, very brave protest song that was also censored on the radio. And it is one of the very best songs of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and I've always loved it. And yeah, I wanted to present it here in case
Yeah.
somebody might not be familiar with it.
Did Neil Young record it solo later on? Because I know
No, but
it was on my
it was included on Decade
yeah,
on
right.
this Neil Young sampler, but it is actually a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young song. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm
So
sure
and
he.
that's the version that's on Decade as well. The same version?
I think no, on Decade it's the studio version by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and it was released
Yeah,
as a single. It wasn't
okay.
on any Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young album.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, it was included on the sampler so far by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and then also before that also on this live recording.
Okay. Yeah. A funny thing because Graham Nash was in last week's episode about the 60s as well because he's part of the Hollies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, nice, nice. I'm not that familiar with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I know a handful of songs, but I've never listened to a full album by them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I, I
okay.
actually
So
I actually had a Contrarians episode, I think last year with Jamie Laszlo, and he recommended me some stuff to listen to from them. So
yeah,
I am by no means an expert on Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, but
yeah,
I know some of their records.
yeah.
Yeah.
They made a pretty weird comeback record in the 80s as well. That's
Yes.
always deemed as some kind of immense failure.
I know one of them. I think they did even two, right? And but I
Maybe,
still
maybe.
I like some of the tracks still.
American Dream or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that,
American
I
Dream,
think
right?
it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. I have a song from the 70s as well, from 1970 as well. Of course, it's from the 70s. And I wanted to include it here. Actually, I didn't know the song before, but I knew of the band, and that's why what I remembered and thought, well, maybe that's the opportunity for me to give them a listen. And it's funny because um, um, back in the early or late early 2000s, so around 2006 to 2011, around that period, I had discovered kind of a blog, a website by an some guy from New York who just put up record reviews, very funnily written, very idiosyncratic, and I read through his page, and there was this band. He reviewed their albums, 70s rock band from the US, and his website is the only place where I've ever read about this band, but they're not super obscure. The band is called Bloodrock. They are from Fort Worth in Texas. They already started in the 60s under different names, but then in the late 60s they got picked up by the manager of Grand Funk Railroad actually and got signed to the same label, and they went on tour with Grand Funk Railroad, and they called themselves Bloodrock. And they recorded a couple of albums in the early 70s. I think up until 1975, they did like 6 albums or something like that. And uh, they weren't super successful, but they had a minor hit on their second album. So the first albums were called Bloodrock, Bloodrock 2, and Bloodrock 3. And on Bloodrock 2, they had this song called D.O.A, Dead on Arrival. And that one went to, I think, 21 in the Billboard charts. And it's their most successful song, and the album was also up in the 20s in the album charts. Um, but I never heard from them in any capacity again. I don't know, because I think they're pretty good actually. And that song DOA is about 8 to 9 minutes long, and it reminds a bit of Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath, the
Mm.
title track from their debut album, because it's very slow and doomy, and in the verses there's not that much music actually. It has this like 2 note organ riff, and it has a very macabre and dark lyric, because I read the story that it's about a plane crash, and it's the narrator. It's the lyrics are from first person perspective, and the guy who's singing is he's lying on his back, and he's survived a plane crash, but he's about to die. And he tells about the sensation that he can't feel his arm, and he looks at it, and there is no arm. And then he looks to his side, and his girlfriend, who was with him on the plane, she has this dead stare because she's dead. Um, so it's pretty dark and doomy. And I read that the radio stations in the US, even though it was a hit, they censored it because it was too horrific. But the song is pretty great. Like I said, it's about 9 minutes, so very slow, moody, nice chorus, and so the last 3 minutes they're all jamming and soloing like crazy. And yeah, they have a couple of songs like that. There's on I think on Bloodrock 3 there's a song called Breach of Lease or something like that. That's also very slow and long and jammy. And but they also have some kind of more upbeat songs. So I think they're pretty cool actually. And yeah, I don't know why they are. Like I said, I never hear anybody talk about them. But if you're into early 70s hard rock, and you know, sometimes you hear a bit like Uriah Heep in there with the organ and stuff like that. Then there's some boogie. Yeah, I think they should be talked about more. I think they're pretty good. So Bloodrock,
Mm.
DOA.
Nice. Also a cool name.
Yeah,
Mm.
pretty metal name actually.
Yeah, yeah. But the rest is not as Sabbathy as that one song, right?
Um, I haven't heard full albums by them. I just picked a couple of songs and tried to find the highlight. Then I read that this was their hit, so to speak, and that's why I picked it. Yeah, there's like I said, this song "Breach of Lease" is also a little bit more slow and doomy. Um, yeah, but they're like 70s US hard rock, so there are also fast songs on there.
Okay. So my second pick is also from the year 1970. It's from this guy. We talked
Yeah,
Curtis Mayfield. We talked about him a little bit in our Supergrass episode, if you remember,
yeah.
because Gas Coombs from Supergrass is also a big fan of him. And yeah, I also like him a lot. He's a gatefold. Yeah, this is the title track. It's 8 minutes long. I think you might have heard it. It's a very big song. And yeah, it has strings in it. It has a great conga soloing, and it goes on and on and on. It grooves and it grooves in such an elegant way. I don't think soul has ever been as elegant as Curtis Mayfield. And I don't know anybody that dislikes this song. So it's
You
really
forgot to mention the title,
move.
actually.
It's did I? It's move on up. It's move on up. Oh yeah,
Ah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah,
it's move on up. It's yeah. I mean, there are many great tracks on this album, but it's move on up, and yeah, it's great and still a dance floor smasher. And yeah, I think Curtis did very well on this album without the Impressions, his old band. Yeah, I love this song, and yeah. And
yeah,
yeah, and there was also is also a shorter single version, but I think the album version, the 8 almost 9 minute track is far superior. Yeah,
yeah. I love the Superfly album. That's all,
yeah,
no skip album all the way through. Great,
yeah.
just great.
He has many great albums.
Yeah, and his long songs are usually great. If there's hell below, we're all gonna go.
Yeah, it's also on this one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, some I actually I don't have that much soul this time, but I have one funk track a little bit later on as we
Okay. Very cool.
reach the end. So yeah, my second song is from 1975, so we make a 5 year jump, and it's actually from a pretty famous band, but they it took a while until they got famous and big, and this is from their debut album, and they sound way different than later on. And yeah, the music they played changed a lot. So this is Journey, and the song is called Of a Lifetime, which is the opener of their debut album. And if we're talking about Journey, usually they kind of get labeled as corporate rock and I don't know, rock for housewives or something like that, because they had this like very plushy and soft rock sound, huge melodies and radio ballads and power ballads and stuff like that. I have a soft spot for this kind of sound, so I like Commercial Journey as well. Um, Fantastic singer, of course, Stephen Perry. Um, but this is, the Neil Schon came from, and Greg Rowley, the keyboarder, they came from Santana. So on their first three albums, they have more like this fusion jazz rock sound. Um, Very guitar driven, lots of excessive soloing. They don't have a great singer on their first records. I think it's Greg Rowley singing, and he's doing a good job, but he's certainly not in the same league as Steve Perry. Um, but I always liked the song of a lifetime. It has a very melancholy guitar riff by Neil Schon, and 6.5 minutes. So there's lots of room in the end for jamming and soloing and shredding. Um, but if you don't like Journey because you think they are too soft and commercial and corporate, you might like the first three albums because they are more experimental and proggy and jammy and yeah, more 70s than what they are known for. So yeah, opener from their debut album of a lifetime, pretty cool song.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, maybe that would be something for me because I mean I don't know that much of Journey to be honest, but I don't really like their big hits to be honest.
Yeah,
So, and I'm not a big fan of Steve Perry, so
yeah.
maybe the early period would be something
I I
more for
didn't
me.
expect you to to like that.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, so my third pick from again from 1970 is also from a quite famous guy. It's Paul McCartney, his
Mhm.
debut album. There he is. And yeah, this record is great. And I did not pick Maybe I'm Amazed. That would be a little bit too easy. I did that with Curtis Mayfield to go for the really big song. No, I went with Junk. It's a track written during the Beatles years when the Beatles went to India. Paul wrote it, and I think it was considered for the White Album and also for Abbey Road, but it was skipped for some reason. And Paul actually recorded it after John Lennon told him that he would leave the band. And I think this kind of the mood Paul was in was especially captured on this song. It's a very very moody introspective track about the evanescence of things. And of course, this can be obviously be interpreted or be seen as a metaphor for the breakup of the Beatles. So, I mean, Paul was the one holding the band together. I think he was in the end more or less the only one that wanted to carry on. But yeah, um, yeah, and this song is really great, and certainly a highlight of this album. Yeah, and yeah, maybe I'm Amazed would be the second big highlight of it. Yeah, it's really one of Paul's very best ballads, and yeah, I think he captured really a mood. I think he himself wouldn't be able to recreate it if he wanted to. He would come close, but yeah, some recordings are just yeah, the magic is there, and then it ha just happens. I think he also played it on the on his Unplugged. That's also quite a good version. Yeah.
Mhm. So it's 1970 as well, you said?
Which one? This album is from 1970,
That,
yes.
yeah, okay. Okay.
And
So
but the song
Wings
was
came
written in 1968.
okay. So Wings came a bit later, right?
Yeah, he recorded two albums as McCartney,
Yeah.
and I think his third solo album was with Wings. I think it was Wildlife, I think.
Mm. So and is Ram, is that the second solo album, which he did that with
Oh
his
yes,
wife, right?
yeah. I forgot Ram. Yeah, there's Ram
Okay.
and McCartney too, and then Wings
Okay.
Wildlife. Yeah,
Not that familiar with his
yeah, right.
solo work or with Wings actually. I don't know. I don't. It's unfair, but I always think that Paul McCartney is somehow dorky, and that I might not like his stuff. I don't know. He seems such a quirky guy. And I don't like quirky music. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I
yeah.
should try.
I mean, it's kind of right and kind of not right. I think he needs someone. Sometimes he needs someone to tell him to stop when he's going to.
Mm.
He's not afraid to go in sometimes embarrassing directions. He's not afraid, and he doesn't care. And at
Yeah,
the same time, he can do something super complicated, complex, and write great lyrics. He was only also the one on the White Album who was pushing all the avant-garde stuff. I mean, Paul was doing this stuff like Revolution Number 9 much, much earlier than John. But John is still considered as the intellectual avant-garde type of Beatle. But
yeah,
Paul was very um, yeah, he could also do all those things, and he was a better instrumentalist on any instrument than John. So I think sometimes this picture of him is a bit unfair of the public. But I mean, but
yeah,
he has proven on many of his solo stuff that he can write different stuff as well. But still, there are songs like I don't know, yeah, songs like from Off the Ground album, like Hope of Deliverance. Yeah, I don't like that too. Yeah, so
yeah. I remember that one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, my next pick is a pretty well-known and famous band as well. Not as famous as the Beatles in any capacity, but they sold a couple of millions of the album that I'm going to talk about. It's actually one of my favorite non-rock bands. Um, there were times when I was labeling this band as maybe the best band in the world. And the band is Steely Dan, and it's from their best-selling album Aja. And the song is one of my favorite songs of Steely Dan. It's called Deacon Blues. And it's just, I mean, I think people hate on Steely Dan because there are these kind of cynical intellectuals um, who put very much time into the arrangements and composition, so there's not much room for spontaneity or something like that. It's all very perfect and beautifully recorded most of the time. Asia is one of those records that people always say you can test your stereo equipment with it because the production is so great. Um, but I think first of all I like this sound, this kind of jazz rock pop sound. And then I think that Steely Dan have absolutely brilliant lyrics. Even if I don't always know what their song's about and I don't understand anything, but they're always clever turns of phrase and funny um, observations and great character sketches and funny scenarios. And the way they put this stuff into words is always pretty cool and original. And Deacon Blues is more of a melancholy song. It's a slow song, 7.5 minutes long, and yeah, but it always gives me goosebumps because it has this. I don't know if I'm right, but I think it's about some kind of outsider, a musician, a loser, and but he's just happy to play his music, and he doesn't care what everyone around him says. So you get into this character when listening to the music, and you feel the triumph in his defeat, so to speak. You know, he will never make it big, but he just persists in doing what he loves, and I think they captured this image just brilliantly in this song, and I absolutely love it. Love it. I think it's the best song on that album, and certainly one of their greatest. There are some tracks by Steely Dan that I grew a bit tired of, um, but this one I always go back to it, and I can still listen to it. Maybe it helps that I have Steely Dan faces, so there are times where I don't listen to them for, I don't know, a year or something like that. And but when I get back to it, I still and I can listen to it like it's fresh. And yeah, but this is a great song, and yeah, love Steely Dan.
Yeah, nice pick. I only know Aja, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the album, right?
yeah, yeah, I
Aja.
know. Yeah,
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 yeah.
I know. I
You mean
know.
the song?
No, I mean the album. I have it
Okay,
even. Yeah,
okay,
but
yeah,
I don't know anything else by Steely Dan.
yeah, okay.
Mm.
So you like the song as well?
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah, I want to re-listen to it now. Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't listened to Steely Dan for quite a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think their albums. I mean, I even like their reunion albums. I was in the lucky position to have seen them live in '99, and that was I don't know if they returned to Germany after that tour, which they did for Tour Against Nature. And I mean, Germany was never their market, so it was kind of lucky to have seen them back then, and it was an amazing experience because when it was a seated concert, which is unusual in Germany. They had this great backing band, and they played a lot of their hits, of course. Yeah, and I think their comeback records are pretty good as well. I mean, they don't won't touch their classics, but they didn't embarrass themselves with them either. So yeah,
Hmm, cool.
I wonder if we get something by Donald Fagen again. I mean, he's still there, and his solo albums are also great.
Hmm. How many albums have they?
Steely Dan,
Yeah, Steely Dan.
I think I think it's six or seven in the '70s to '80s, and then I think they have one in '99, and then a couple of years later, I think they did another one. So I think it's two.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's the debut album. It's Countdown to Ecstasy, Pretzel Logic, Katie Light, Aja, Royal Scam, and Gaucho. So that's seven plus two, so nine albums.
Hmm, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's go to my next pick. Let's jump to 1977. Now you expect something different, I can imagine. Let's go here.
Ah,
This is the song I learned to love AC/DC, and it's the title track, Let There Be Rock. Yeah, I think this album is great, and this is my favorite phase of this introduced my favorite phase of AC/DC because they they leveled up their energy level. It got more enthusiastic, more kind of heavier, more in your face guitar attack, and they sound very raw on this album. And yeah, also great fictional lyrics about the development of rock and roll with Tchaikovsky going back to Chuck Berry, Tell Tchaikovsky the News. Quite funny, yeah, great soloing by Angus. Yeah, and it's great. I also love the album cover.
yeah,
That's really great, and I think it's also Dave Mustaine's favorite AC/DC album I read somewhere. So
yeah,
also
possibly.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before that, yeah, I wanted to tell a story. Before that, I only knew some 80s track with Brian Johnson singing, and I did not like the band because I'm just not a Brian Johnson guy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think his voice is to me it's a comic version of a rock singer, kind of. And he doesn't even scream. They all do it with I read that somewhere, do it with the mic. They turn up the volume. He's not very loud.
Mm.
So it's kind of to me it's always a big it has a parody factor to me. It's kind of a parody of a rock band. Uh, and I don't know. I mean, they made so great albums with Bon. That's enough AC/DC for me. And yeah, and after that, I was introduced by a friend of mine, a big AC/DC fan, to this album, and I immediately loved it. He told me, "You want to listen to AC/DC? You got to listen to the really bluesy AC/DC from the 70s." And
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree. I like Brian Johnson. I think the albums they did with him are certainly weaker than what they did with Bon, with exceptions here and there. But I think for the way they were going, he was the right choice. And I mean, AC/DC got way more over the top and comical
Yeah,
with the lyrics. I mean, Bon Scott had these worker type lyrics, very bluesy in nature. So he was telling from his stories from his life. The lyrics were, or the songs were more authentic. Um, but yeah, that with Brian Johnson, they didn't try to replicate that. So they went way with the double entendres and you know these silly sex songs and slip the pink and stuff like that. I don't know if that would have worked with Bon. So
yeah.
I
I
think
mean, it's
for what
hard
they
to
had in mind,
compare.
yeah, right. And I think Back in Black is a great album. So
I only know the title track, the singles.
yeah, yeah. There's some. I think um, there's one of the deep cuts that might be my favorite AC/DC song on that one. That's also a silly song, but yeah. Yeah, AC/DC will be up on Rockaput certainly in the future.
Certainly, yes.
We might have to spare you listening to Brian Johnson, but we'll find a way to get those in as well. So yeah,
Yeah, we have a plan already.
yeah. So okay, my next one is another song from 1977, um, and it's a song that gets labeled as punk rock. So it's from Great Britain. And like as always with when these new genres or sounds emerged in the beginning, there are people that get kind of lumped in there that later on you wonder what they don't have that much to do with it. So yeah, I see why people call it a punk rock song, but today you would say yeah that might be a bit too soft maybe for punk rock. So the song is called "Do Anything You Want to Do," and it's by Eddie and the Hot Rods. And it's a great pop song. I mean, it's a rock band, but it's a very you listen to it and you can sing along with it immediately. It's one of those songs, very catchy, um, upbeat. So it's just fun, little bit of melancholy undertones there. Um, Also a bit of do anything you want to do. Obviously, it's an song about empowerment and encouragement. So it just brings you in a good mood. Perfectly written. The guitar has a bit of you hear the beginnings of new wave and synth pop in there as well. There's some new wave song that has a similar sound, and I try to get it. I think it might be Flock of Seagulls or something. Yeah, I think it's Iran from the Flock of Seagulls. Has a little bit similar guitar sound to it. And funnily, the first time I heard this song was actually a cover version, and it was a cover version by a German punk rock band because the most famous German punk rock band and one of the most famous German and most successful German rock bands called Die Toten Hosen, which would translate to the Dead Pants in English. Um, they in the early 90s they recorded kind of a tribute album. They covered their favorite punk rock songs, the songs that got them hooked on punk rock, and that was one of the songs they covered. So I listened to that, got that album when it came out, and so I knew the song, but never listened to the original. And a couple of months back, it slipped into my 70s playlist, and I listened to it, remembered it from my youth, and totally loved it. It's just a great fun song. Eddie and the Hot Rods, they didn't do too much. I think they had one or two minor hits in the UK, but yeah, that's their claim to fame, that one song, and it's deservedly so. Cool song.
Hmm. Not sure if I know that one.
Yeah, I
But
think you would love it.
okay, should check it out.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's stay in 1977 and continue with some punk rock.
I thought so.
Yeah, and I picked my yeah, one of my favorite songs from the Ramones. I always liked this one way more than Blitzkrieg Bob, and I picked the song Rockaway Beach. This is really one of their very best song, great melody. Yeah, I think everything is perfect. Mm. I think the idea behind it was to recreate to create a reminiscence of the Beach Boys, to write a song with beach in it, and they wrote Didi wrote it actually, the bass player, and he wanted to write a song about a beach in Queens called Rockaway Beach. I think Joey was growing up in this kind of area, and Didi also knew it. It was not I think it wasn't a very pretty beach, but it was the beach they knew, and they hung out as teenagers, and yeah,
And it's got a cool name.
and it's got a cool name. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's also the opening song of their great live album, It's Live. My first Ramones album, the first one I owned. Yeah, I've always loved this song. I think it's really great, a great composition, and yeah, maybe Didi's best song, and maybe even my favorite Ramones song. I've always loved it more than the bigger, more popular hits. But I think what is kind of interesting, it I read that it was their highest charting single on number
Mhm.
66 in the Billboard Hot 100. I mean, the Ramones were never really big
Yeah,
in singles and chart success, so that's quite interesting.
yeah, yeah. I like that song also. Yeah, cool song, and yeah, totally 50 reminiscent of 50s rock and roll and surf music. Yeah,
Yeah,
and instantly hooky, of course. But
yeah,
that's
totally.
true of most of the Ramones songs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
Okay.
they also have this 50s and 60s cover all the time. Do you want to dance and let's dance and all those stuff.
Yeah. 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 Let's stay on the dance floor. For my final track, and this time, in contrast to our 60s episode, where I really picked songs that I didn't even know myself before. This time I went for stuff I have a bit more of a connection to. And this one is an absolute favorite song of mine. I love this band. It's funk, or yeah, it's late 70s, so it's funk merging into disco.
Mhm.
Um, the band is huge, or was huge in the 70s. It's Earth, Wind and Fire. So many great hits and singles, just amazing, great singers. And this might be my favorite song of theirs. I mean, it's probably a cheesy choice. It's Fantasy. And what I always loved about this song is that it's hooks on hooks. Um, every part of it would work as a chorus. Uh, and it just, if you think the song is peaked, and then there's another part that tops the one that came before. So I just love that. It has great groove as well. Then the vocal harmonies. I mean, like I said, they were just brilliant singers. These high vocals, um, all going together, and like I said, yeah, this is just perfect songwriting. The melodies. Uh, the lyrics are pretty esoteric, so we don't have to get into those. But yeah, I always loved that one. I mean, they have other tracks that are great. Boogie Wonderland is so great, and September, of course. Shining Star, Sing a Song. There's so many great tracks they did. But yeah, always loved Fantasy. So that's my fifth pick.
Oh, nice. I also have to re-listen to that one. I
Yeah,
don't have it. No, I'm not
maybe
that
it's
familiar. Huh?
I think you know it, but
Yeah.
maybe it's too I could maybe it's too cheesy for you. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's very poppy and a
I
little bit kitschy.
have to check it out. Sometimes I like such stuff.
Yeah, I mean they knew what they did, and yeah, there's always the great instrumental underneath it, so you will get something out of it, I think.
Nice. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So this
Ah,
was,
right. I was going last. Yeah, right.
yeah, this was the last one. Yeah. So this was our episode about random songs of the 70s. And guess what? Another episode is coming up about the 80s.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we have some more random songs for you. So stay tuned. And if you like this video, please subscribe and hit the like button. And we hope to see you soon here on the channel on Rock Kaput. Bye bye.
Bye.